Hello and welcome to the 2015 season of the FIA European Rally Championship, starting again with the International Jännerrallye in Austria, the first of 10 rounds and a proper challenge to kick the season off. Some changes for this year. Crews will count their best 7 results from the 10 rounds. There's a prize fund for privateers and the categories have been renamed ERC, ERC2 and ERC3. Early morning in the service park of Freistadt, host city of the rally in Upper Austria. Couldn't be trickier for the drivers. It's been snowing all night. The forecast before the event was for a melt of the snow, but the weather has provided the complete opposite. As is typical with a snowy rally, the first drivers on the road will be cleaning the road, and one of the earliest cars will be Stefan Lefebvre. Reigning ERC Junior champion, he's in PH Sport, Citroën DS3 R5. One of 2 prize drivers for his championship win last year. This is what he faces. 10 stages today. 3 visits to the service park, and as you can see from the road conditions, it'll be absolutely crucial they pick exactly the right tyres. Looking very relaxed ahead of the start, but a tricky job to do, being one of those very first cars. He was 13th yesterday on the qualifying stage, so he's ended up running a not so favourable second. Kartanovic was fastest, he will be 14th on the road. Breen, 3rd in the ERC last year, will be running 8th on the road, and Alexei Lukianuk, 12th on the road. Very good yesterday, 3rd fastest on the qualifying stage with just 20 kilometres of pre-event testing. There's your first loop. The helicopter says what you really need to know, and that's all about the road conditions. Fans are out. Bank holiday in Austria. It's a strange one for a rally to be running on a Monday and a Tuesday, but that's why they wanted the fans to be able to see the action, and they'll be lining up for this one. Lefebvre away from the start of stage 1, and that's how hard it was. Straight out with a spin. You can see the marks there at the side of the road. Lucky to keep it back on, but snow blocking the radiator. He has to stop a couple of minutes later to clean it out, and unfortunately loses 3 minutes 40. So not a great start, but still going. That spin was 5 kilometres into the stage. Very hard to open the road. No marks on the road, of course, for braking points, line. Anybody making a mistake in front of you, even hard to pick out the side of the road. You can see here the snow poles make it a bit easier for Jonathan Hershey in the Tour 8 T16, but he too finds it very, very difficult. Ex-circuit racer of some note as well, good peddler, but 3 spins and loses 3 minutes 30. He was 4th last year on the Rally de Valais, so he's a good peddler. Brilliant season lined up for these two. Breen and Scott Martin with works backing from Peugeot Sport, but not a great run here in Austria. Sliding off the road at very low speed and unable to get the car back on.
It was really, really low speed. I had already slowed and stopped for the corner, entered the corner. I got half the trick all the ways around, and just when I went to get back on the power again, the front of the car stepped out of the line, and I fell off the roads.
On board now with Consani, Frenchman at the wheel of a 207 S2000, so an older car, but absolutely on it. 2nd fastest on the qualifying stage yesterday, has great grip from his Pirelli tyres. He's 10th on the road, and you can just see a clean line appearing in the snow. Not much, but enough to give him a bit more confidence, and look at the speed he's carrying. Great drive from Consani. Had a rotten year last year, lots of bad luck. 15 minutes 39.0, he went fastest so far. Problems for Alexei Lukianuk in the Ford Fiesta R5. First time in the European Rally Championship with an R5 car. Unfortunately, the engine overheating. He stops to cool it down and loses 5 minutes 38. So again, maybe snow in the radiator, but other issues too.
The engine overheated, I don't know why, and the engine stopped. We had to wait for a few minutes until it cooled down. We removed the tapes from the front of the radiator because it was blocked a bit. Now it works fine, but we lost a lot of seconds. It's a big shame.
If you're wondering, the tapes are put on the radiator to stop the engine from being too cool in cold conditions, so to limit the airflow through it. Taking those off seemed to do the trick, but obviously issues there. On board now with Kajtanovic, Polish driver, 4 times Polish champion, fastest on the qualifying stage, chose to run 14th on the road, 6.4 quicker than Consani. He wins the stage.
I want to say happy birthday to for my dad, because he have a birthday. I hope we can win this stage. We can win the stage, and this is for him.
He did win the stage, as you can see. He'll be worried because, of course, the car's coming further down the field, facing better road conditions. That was your top 5 after special stage 1. 2 minutes separating the top 5, so massive gaps already. Stages 2 and 3 to go before returning to service. Alexei Lukyanuk, 2nd fastest on stage 2 and 3. So managed to sort those problems out with the car, up to 15th in the standings.
You push on the full throttle into the icy corner. Nice emotions, and it's great. Yeah, it's a great time, so it's nice.
Big smiles. Twice the winner last year of the Colin McRae Flat Out Award. Spectacular driver and doing well. Hershey, not so well. Snow ploughing, off-road, stage 2. Struggled to get the car back on. Look how deep the snow is. Fully up to the front bumper. Absolutely burying the car. 9th fastest in stage 3. 17th in the standings. Tape and all sorts on that car. Not ideal, to say the least. Kajtanovic, fastest on stages 2 and 3. Great drive from him, won all the stages so far. He's leading the rally at the end of the first loop and already has a 30.1 second lead on Consani.
You are sliding with full throttle, with full speed. It's amazing, but this is Jännerrallye. It's fantastic rally.
There is your top 5. 3 S2000 cars, interestingly, in that top 5. An R5 car leading overall, but just going to show the older technology can still cut it. See there as well, top 2-wheel drive down in 8th place, ahead of a couple of the R5 cars. Back to service. Robert Consani, one of the stars of the morning, together with Kaito. They used a kind of hybrid Pirelli tyre for the morning loop, a choice which has been copied by a number of the other leading drivers. Consani saying this morning we used the full study tyres from Pirelli. They're not really built for the 4-wheel drive cars. In fact, these tyres were made for 2-wheel drive cars. 208 R2, for example. We managed after all to fit those tyres on the rims for the S2000, which are larger. Yesterday morning when we left for shakedown, the other teams were joking a bit about us, but after 2 runs in free practice, they weren't joking anymore. All the drivers who use the Pirelli tyres have decided to fit the cars with the same kind of tyre. So interesting use of different tyres. Join us after the break for more. Welcome back to Austria for the Jännerrallye. Kajtanovic leading after 3 stages, a 30-second lead over Consani, and nearly 4 minutes now, spreading the top 5. After that first service, a rerun of the first 3 stages, but the wind is blowing, heavy snow falling, and the conditions, if anything, are trickier than in the morning. Stefan Lefebvre in service, raised the car, just a few clicks apparently. Car feeling better now, confidence coming. He is 5th in stages 4 and 5, and 5th in the overall standings. 22 years old, we'll see him later on this year on Ypres in a 208 R5, so chance to try both cars as a result of that junior championship win last year. Consani, 4th fastest on stage 4, 3rd fastest in stage 5, doing a great job from the start of the rally with that interesting tyre choice, as we say. Tyres meant for small front-wheel drive cars, not the more powerful four-wheel drive cars, but making it work. He's second overall. Hermann Neubauer, Austrian driver in the Fiesta S2000, 6th fastest on stage 4, but is having problems with oil pressure. And staying on the road, it seems. Off on stage 5, and unfortunately, when he gets to the end of the stage, you can see he can't see anything there where he's tried to rejoin. Second mistake, just a result of having too much snow on the screen. But problems with the car meant that they ended up retiring anyway, unfortunately.
The boot is open, Benny, give me my papier. At the start of this stage I saw the red light and oil pressure, and I turned off everything, and the windscreen was getting foggy, so I was also stuck in one time in the snow. It was, yeah, but okay. Disappointment now, yes.
On board with Alexei Lukyanuk. Really can't see anything, can we? Visibility difficult for the drivers too. Second fastest time on both stages. Fantastic pictures. Look at that snow, absolutely stunning. Taking bigger risks than the first loop, apparently a bit happier with his driving. Up from 7th to 4th overall. Listen to the inputs there on the throttle and the brake just to get the car to turn in. Jaromir Tarabas, completely different sound of course from the normally aspirated S2000 cars. 3rd quickest on stage 4, 4th on stage 5. 3rd overall, but he's 2 minutes 37.6 behind Consani, so big gaps. I think if you can do enough to keep the car on the road, it would be enough for a decent result at the end of this one. Kajtanovic, nothing could stop the Polish driver in the Fiesta R5. Fastest time on stage 4 and 5, leading the rally now 57.4 ahead of Consani. Has won all the stages so far. Stunning conditions so far. Countryside of Upper Austria covered by snow. Top 5 after stage 5, and you can see that gap there. The top 2, Consani really in no man's land, a minute off Kaito at the head of the field. Onto stage 6, local time 13:43. Second pass of St. Oswald. Last stage in the loop before service. Weather conditions very tricky indeed. Alexei Lukyanuk running for Belarus here, actually a Ukrainian, desperately hoping for a peaceful solution in his home country. So both him and his co-driver running with Belarusian licenses. 3rd fastest, a few problems.
We have again problems with the car now. It's the low water pressure. I never saw it before. We also reduced the pace, and now it's okay, but some worry is inside. The stages are really tricky now because it's a lot of snow, and it's no confidence to push in these conditions.
Doing a good job so far. Jaromir Tarabas, Czech driver, 5 minutes 42.7. He's 4th quickest, 4.7 off Tarabas. 3rd in the standings. He's 2 minutes 45 ahead of Lukyanuk.
Yeah, it's a lot of snow and very slippery. Now I can't see ideal line in a fast speed. It's very difficult.
On board with Consani. Look how hard it is to pick out the road in these conditions. And look how much fun an S2000 car looks like. Second fastest, 2nd overall. 2 minutes 45 ahead of Tarabas. But a fair distance off Kaito.
On n'est pas flat complètement, on veut pas aller chercher Kaito.
We're not flat out, we don't want to challenge Kaito. These two loops are finished now. That's good. Let's think about the next two loops. It will be very difficult in the night. Fully dark stages to come, and those are hard enough without the snow. So far though, this man has looked untroubled. Katanovic, 5 minutes 23.4, 11.7 faster than Kansani. He's won 6 out of 6. Fantastic. 1 minute 9 lead on Kansani. Great drive so far.
We won the stage. I know maybe it's a little bit boring, but believe me, inside in the car we have so much emotion. It's fantastic. Everything working well, so we can go to the service.
Certainly not boring from where we were sitting. Looked fantastic. He's obviously having a good time, and it will be hard work for him despite that lead of more than a minute over Kansani. Kansani himself having a big lead over third place. A good mix of everything from Group N to R5, R2s and S2000s even in the top 10. Into service again. Time to choose tyres. Jaromir Tarabas is third after 6 stages.
It's a lot of snow. Definitely, it's a little crazy because I can't see ideal line road, but I think everybody is the same. But yes, we have good position. Now it was better because we changed tires, and it's a little better.
4 stages left to go. Join us after the break for the conclusion of leg 1. Welcome back to Austria. Third loop of the day, 2 stages. Stage 7, Pregarten, 8.76. Stage 8, Schönau to Saint-Léonard, 22.93 kilometres. It's the longest stage of the day. There's the leaderboard. Everything to lose for Katanovic with 1 minute and 9's lead. Should he push or just relax a little? Stefan Lefebvre continues to learn the R5 car. Citroën DS3, great to see this on an ERC event. See now dark and snowy conditions. Just gets it a bit wrong there, hooks the wheel on the bank on the inside, and that spins the car round. Finished the stage but at low speed because there was a lot of snow in the radiator apparently. Down to 6th overall. 49.9 back. But still learning. Kansani, 4th fastest on stage 7 and 8, but he went off on stage 8, and look at the drop at the side of the road. Lucky to spin up the road and not off the side of it. Not so much about having a big accident, it's about not being able to get the car back on. You can see, so tricky to know how deep to go into the banks.
Very, very difficult. I see nothing. I drive slowly and I make a big mistake. Well, no big mistake, small mistake. I make a spin and I think I lost 20 seconds.
Certainly not what you need for the confidence. This man though, certainly not lacking in the confidence stakes. Fastest again on stage 7 and 8. He's still pushing. And his lead on Kansani, thanks to Kansani's problems as well, is 2 minutes 48.3.
have long glides, and it's snowing. Sometimes you can't see. It's completely new for me experience, but I'm happy.
Wojtek Staff, Czech driver in the Impreza, 10th quickest on stage 7, 8th quickest in stage 8. Nice to hear the clear sound. The Subaru. Second in the new ERC2 category. That's basically for N4 production cars. And he's 8th overall. David Botka, Hungarian driver, Mitsubishi Evo 9, continuing to be a good car despite its relatively old age now. 12th in stage 7, 10th fastest in stage 8, 3rd in the ERC2 standings, 1 minute 46 behind Staff, and 12th overall. Anti-lag working overtime. There's the leaderboard, 2 minutes 48. As you can see, Consani now roughly the same gap in front and behind him. Tarabus with a 2-minute buffer over 4th place. Favourite still in 6th despite that spin. Chased by Rowe, but even a minute between them. Into service C then, the 3rd service of the day. With Lefebvre, he lost more than 4 minutes on that long stage, dropped only 1 place from 5th to 6th, and his steep learning curve as he tests for Rally Monte Carlo.
Je sais pas encore exactement tout anticiper, tout
I
faire
don't
dans
know yet
l'ordre, donc
perfectly how
on
to
fait vraiment
anticipate
le temps d'apprendre,
things.
et sur l'asphalte on connaît, donc ça va,
Take
sur
our
la
time
terre
to
on
learn
connaît,
it
ça
all.
va. La neige,
We know how
j'ai
to
fait
drive
la
on
déjà l'année
tarmac
passée
and
en
gravel.
R2, et là,
I did only
trouvait
one
qu'une
snow rally
428 dans
last
des
year in
conditions
Latvia with an
dantesques.
R2
On va avoir
car.
une neige qui est damée, comme ça, au
Now
moins,
we are
on a les
competing
clous
with a
qui
4-drive
vont dans le
car in
sol.
extreme
Là, avec la
conditions.
poudreuse qu'il y avait sur la route, et plus qu'on ouvrait,
It's
on
better to
sentait
drive on
vraiment,
groomed snow, then the
la neige
studs are able
qui
to
forçait
bite
sur les
into the
roues, et
ground.
qu'on
The
voulait
fresh
aller
snow
plus vite, mais
today
c'était
and
vraiment
opening the
le
road.
fait que la neige molle qui
The
nous...
snow was really hindering the wheels. We wanted to go faster, but the soft snow was really slowing us down. This is Martin Fischelehner, Austrian driver. Great drive by the Austrian youngster, leading the ERC2 category. ERC3, Sławomir Ogryzek, Poland in the 2.8 R2. Fastest of the drivers so far and 12th overall. Simone Tempestini, Italian, driving with a Romanian licence, if you're wondering. 2nd in the ERC3 category, 14th overall. And back up with the leaders. Jonathan Hershey into full proper darkness now. Very tricky job driving in the dark with the snow. Had plenty of moments today at the start of the leg. Here you can see the reflection from the snow with the lamp pod on.
It's the first row for me I do on the completely night on the rally, so it's brand new, especially on snow. It's difficult, and it's snowing a little bit. It's difficult with the light to see far away.
Hard enough to do your first night stage, let alone on the snow. Tarabus, 4th fastest on the last stage of the day, 3rd in the standings after leg 1. Wide-eyed, driving in these conditions. Robert Consani, some trouble during this last loop, a puncture on special stage 9, and a bit of damage on 10 due to the puncture. Still 3rd fastest time, 2nd overall after leg 1. Great drive so far, has to be said.
Tout à l'heure, on a crevé et il y a un
I had a
problème au niveau du
puncture.
triangle, donc la roue elle est
There's a
complètement
problem
enfoncée dans l'aile, donc
on
on
the
a la voiture
suspension
qui roule un
and
peu
the
en
wheel is
crabe.
completely in the fender, so the car is crabbing along. Alexei Lukyanuk, 2nd fastest on stages 9 and 10 after his problems earlier on in the day, but says he's not really enjoying the darkness. Doing a good job for someone who doesn't like it. As his co-driver, I think my belts might be a bit tighter than that.
It was
was blind corners everywhere because the snow is falling and the lamps flashing it like the snow. It's not so easy, but again, I have good pace nose to attack like this.
Great drive by him, but a perfect drive by this man. Tiptoeing on the brakes down to this junction. Kajtanovic in the Fiesta R5 has been unbeatable. 100% score, 10 out of 10 stage wins. Takes a 3-minute 52 lead into day 2. No mistakes and a faultless car so far.
It was a fantastic day. Thank you for my sponsors, for everybody, for the spectators. Look on them. For my team, they're working very well. It was amazing. I want to push tomorrow.
Great to see Kato's fans at the end of the stage. Torches ablaze. And a home flag as well. What a lead, 3 minutes 52 on Kansani Tarabas. Nearly 3 minutes back on him. A minute back to Lukyanuk. But as you've seen from the conditions today, it is all to play for. One tiny little mistake and we could see the leaderboard turned on its head. Brilliant, challenging conditions for the first round of the 2015 FIA European Rally Championship. Kansani in second. He'll be looking to see if he can sneak the win. Join us tomorrow and we'll see leg 2. I'm Andrew Coley. You can keep up with the action, of course, on FIAERC.com. We'll see you tomorrow. Hello and welcome to the 2015 season of the FIA European Rally Championship, starting again with the International Jännerrallye in Austria, the first of 10 rounds. And as we saw yesterday, a very tricky challenge with proper winter weather to kick the season off.
Jean-Pierre, quelles sont les particularités du Jännerrallye?
So our ERC reporter caught up with Jean-Pierre Nicolas, asked what are the main characteristics of this rally. The rally is taking place at an altitude between 500 and 1,000 meters. It's a mid-mountain region with high-speed roads. It's snowing for 36 hours and we expect more snow in the next 12 hours until the start of the rally. On snow, average speed will be around 80-90 kilometers an hour. There are plenty of long straights. Top speed could be around 180-200 kilometers per hour for the fastest cars. It was the case with Kubica, who won the rally last year. I think the rally will be difficult. The temperature will remain low, minus 10 degrees C. Tyre choice will be crucial, as will the time in the qualifying stage, which will determine the starting order for leg 1. And this is just like in F1. Upper Austria is a vast province nestled around the Alps and the Danube valleys. This region is full of castles, palaces and monasteries like this one. This is the Renaissance castle of Weinberg in the Mühlviertler Kernland, a stately 800-year-old building overlooking the township of Käfermarkt. Well, another stunning location for the European Rally Championship. Here's how leg 2 lines up. Stages 11 through 18, just 2 visits to the service park. Special stage 11, 8.27 kilometers and 12, 12.54. 13, 7.79 as you can see. And then back to service.
Into a long flat 2 right.
Well, this is what happened yesterday. It was a short day for Craig Breen, third in the ERC last year. Big season for him this year with ERC and WRC commitments with Peugeot Sport. Unfortunately, went off on the very first stage. The car got stuck when he retired for the day, but he's back for leg 2. Kaitanovic, Polish driver in the Ford Fiesta R5, second full season in the ERC, a title favourite for sure, and a perfect day for Kaito, winning all 10 stages. Absolutely outrageous performance, takes a huge lead into leg 2. Robert Consani with the old Peugeot 207 S2000, easy for me to say. Normally aspirated engine, so a little bit easier to drive in these conditions. Had a great chat with Tom Cave last night after the highlight show about the differences between the S2000 and the R5 cars, and the S2000 with the normally aspirated engines just a little bit easier, particularly in some of the low speed corners. Nice to catch up with Tom. Of course, some WRC events for him last year. Hope we'll see him out again this year. That was Tarabas you were seeing there, third overall, 6 minutes 29 behind Kaito. And look, Yinuk lost a lot of time here on the first stage with an overheating engine. He's fourth overall, 7 minutes 35 behind Kaito. There is that leaderboard confirming those positions. 3 minutes 52 on Consani. So difficult for Kaitanovic. Got to take a sensible approach. Keep the speed up, make the car work, but not make any mistakes and throw away that huge lead. Early morning. A lot of snow on the stages after a freezing cold night. The forecast says it should be a sunny day, but it was wrong in the run-up to the event. 8 stages left, ending with 2 runs on Bad Zell, decisive in the last 2 years. Kaitanovic trying to keep that concentration. Hit a snowbank, but manages to escape any major damage. Telemetry on the right, green is throttle. You see the RPM and the speed as well with the gear indicator bottom right.
Dobry czas, ale musimy myśleć o tym, że to jest nowy
The time on the stage is good.
W zeszłym roku tutaj nie dojechaliśmy.
It's a new day, new stages.
Tak to jest. Teraz musimy
Last year we didn't make it this far.
na drodze i jak najszybciej jechać. To jest plan.
We want to stay on the road and go as fast as we can. On board now with Consani. Contrast the driving style with the revs in the S2000 car. Again, data over on the right hand side. This time you've got the brake as well. So the red bar bottom right is brake, green is throttle. Get an idea of the balancing act to keep the car on the road. Not so many tyres left. You remember he made a clever tyre choice yesterday, using tyres really meant for two-wheel drive cars. It certainly worked all day yesterday, but he hasn't got many of them left. So driving safely and aiming for a great points haul in second. Consani says, I don't understand why my time is good because I'm not really pushing at all. I tried to stay in the middle of the road, to brake early. Really, I don't understand. My rivals must have done some mistakes. Good drive from Consani so far. Tarabas in the Fabia S2000, second fastest on stage 11 and fourth fastest on stage 12. Still third in the overall standings, but needs to keep an eye on Lukyanuk, who is chasing him. And here is Lukyanuk, again with the data down on the right-hand side, aiming for the podium after yesterday's engine problem delay. Fourth fastest on stage 11, second fastest on stage 12. He's fourth overall after 12 stages. 1 minute 31 behind third place Tarabas. On board now with Stéphane Lefebvre in the DS3 R5. Another good opportunity for him to learn today about snow driving. He's preparing for Rally Monte Carlo. Comparing times in the morning with Craig Breen in the Peugeot R5, both of them on Michelin tyres. It's a good drive from the Frenchman, who's just a little bit quicker than Breen, but Breen also playing around with settings because, of course, this rally, whilst he's back with Rally 2 today, not ideal for him. This was Hershey with another mistake, continuing to learn about rallying generally. Got the car stuck. Spectators luckily on hand to push him back on the road, so he gets away with it. On the limiter all the way out of the ditch. On then to special stage 13. Arila Königsweissen, 7.79 kilometres. Plenty of spectators. It's the shortest stage of leg 2. Jean-Michel Raoult, another Ford Fiesta R5 driver. The R5 category has really taken off. Just turning a little bit too much there, hooks a wheel, and then the bumper into the inside. You can see the car just got sucked into the snowbank. Down one place to 8th in the standings. So borderline as to whether or not the car goes in. Very hard to judge. Kajtanovic, fastest again. Puts on a bit of a show for the spectators. Still driving at 100%, even with a 4-minute 27 advantage over Consani. So on board now with Craig Breen, Rally 2, I mentioned it earlier. That's the new name for Super Rally, if you're not familiar. Had a spin, 6th fastest, but still gaining experience of the car on this surface. See how they stand after special stage 13. Kajtanovic now with a 4-minute 27 lead over Consani, Tarabas, Lukinut and Lefebvre. Fischelena would be the top ERC2 driver, but not registered for that category, so Staff in 7th is leading that one. Back to the service park. Time again to choose those tyres, if indeed you've got any tyres left to choose. Lukinut not very happy with his morning. I thought he could have gained a bit more time on 3rd place Tarabas.
Actually, I expected to be slightly faster, but now the conditions are very likely to drive fast and for everybody, and it's not so easy to get a big advantage. Of course, our tires also fading and not helping us to get faster. I try to change something in my driving style. We try to change the setup of the car. It's anyway too soft for me because I used to Mitsubishi and the suspension travel is much more here. And I am always in a doubt to go softer or harder.
Welcome back to Austria for the Jännerrallye. Kaito is leading after stage 13. Massive lead, as you can see. He's won every single stage so far. A loop now of stages 14, 15 and 16. Spectators again out. Double bank holiday in Austria. And that's why the rally is unusually on a Monday and a Tuesday. Antonin Klustak in the Fabia S2000, 7th in stage 14 and 16, 6th in stage 15. Bought some Pirellis from Kajto apparently, and says he's having a very good rally. Fighting with Hershey for 9th overall. Klustak is 4.4 seconds behind. Stéphane Lefebvre, 5th quickest in stage 14, but the car isn't running right on stages 15 and 16. They tried to fix it on the road section after the stage, but unfortunately they couldn't, and he retired later on in the day. And we will of course see him later on in the year on Ypres in a 208 R5, another part of his prize for being the junior champion last year.
The bearing for the belt. I have no spare on inside, and normally it's finished for us.
disappointing, but all good experience in very difficult conditions. Alexei Lukyanuk, second fastest in stage 14, 15 and 16, made lots of changes to the car. We heard him talking about it just before the break, and he says the car is much better than on leg one, pushing very hard to challenge Tarabus for third. He was a minute and 13 behind, but after stage 16, Lukyanuk is now just 36 seconds behind Tarabus. Tarabus here in the Fabia S2000. Czech driver, third fastest on all three stages of this loop. He was happy with his pace after stage 14, but unfortunately started to lose some studs from the tyres in stage 15 and really struggled as a result of that on 16. Needs to push to keep Lukyanuk behind. It's going to be very difficult with the tyres degrading at the rate they are. Normal service for Kaito. Fastest in all three stages on the loop. Great commitment on the brakes. You can see they're moving the car around with supreme confidence every stage so far. Said that stage 15 was crazy, a very fast stage. Two stages to go, and that's how they stand. A 5-minute 50 lead for Kaito. Consani, Tarabus, Lukyanuk and Lefebvre are the top five. 17 minutes back. Lefebvre, of course, we know, retired. So he'll be out of that position once the next stage is underway. 17 and 18 are the same stage repeated, just with a visit to the service park in between. Longest stage of the leg, 21 kilometres. Tlustak, 15 minutes 7.1, 8th quickest, 17.7 seconds quicker than Hershey, and that puts him up into 7th place, 12.3 ahead of Hershey. Lukyanuk is still playing with the setup. He sets a much quicker time, 13 minutes 49.1, chasing the third place of Tarabus, second fastest on this one, and this is why.
To go. It's a really exciting stage, a beautiful one, fast flowing and exciting, so we are looking forward to drive it again.
Tarabus, 14 minutes 16.7, 28 seconds slower than Lukyanuk. He has no grip, a mixture of new and old tyres, and Lukyanuk has closed him right down. He's just 8.5 seconds behind. One stage to go. It's going to be a tough job for Tarabus to hold on.
Alexei is very fast, and we have no grip, and it's impossible to push.
Frustrating, but still trying hard. Consani really hoping to hold on for a great result here. 14 minutes 16.1, his 5th quickest, but remains in 2nd overall. Said this was a very hard stage, and this was why a real mixture of snow, gravel and tarmac, and a very, very fast stage. I'm happy about my time. I'm able to control Tarabus and Lukyanuk one more stage, and I hope we can taste the champagne. Katanovic, fastest time again, 13 minutes 33.3. One stage to go to take a clean sweep of every single stage. 15.8 faster than Lukyanuk, and his lead is 6 minutes 32.8. Have a look at this.
Prawy i 100, 4 lewe szybki, może zahacz 50 i od szczytu 5 prawy, ciasny średni, do 5 lewy przytnij i po 90, mocno skanuj, 3 prawy, szybki średni, przytnij, 110, nie ciąć mur, 5 lewy wąsko, do 5 prawy podwójnie nie ciąć, do 5 lewy i 60 z uwagą, lewy przytnij, podbija, do odszczytu 5 prawy nie ciąć, minus
Great drive.
ciasno nie wypuścić.
Grip is changing all the time. It's so amazing. Every corner is different.
You could see as well from that onboard some very, very deceptive sections of stage. Not so much marking out the edge of the road on those open sections, and with the snow even harder to pick out just which direction the road is heading in. So great drive so far. One stage to go for Kato. Fastest on every single one so far. The crew are getting it ready for one last blast. We'll see you after the break. Time for the final stage of the Jännerrallye in Austria. Before that, let's have a look at the other ERC categories. ERC2 then, new for this year. Formerly the Production Cup. It's for Group N production cars, R4 cars basically. This is Wojciech Staff, Czech driver in the Subaru Impreza, fastest of all the ERC2 registered drivers. David Botka, Hungarian driver in the Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution 9, was second of the drivers registered for ERC2. There were 4 in fact, but 2 of them went off the road on day 1 and returned today for a bit of Super Rally action. Here's the driver standings. After round 1, Staff leading from Botka, Hideg and Kabasinski. ERC3 is the new name for the two-wheel drive cup this year, so this caters for all cars in R1, R2 and R3 category. And the winner was Sławomir Ogryzek, Polish driver in a 208 R2, ahead of all the R3 cars, led the category from start to finish. Great job by him. Simone Tempestini, Italian with a Romanian licence, was second in ERC3. Citroen DS3 R3T for him. And Christoph Klaus, Hungarian driver in the Renault Clio R3. Third in ERC3, and that means 3 different brands on the ERC3 podium. Here's the standings for ERC3 after the first round. Ogryzek leading from Tempestini, Klaus, Peter and Varkonil. Stunning pictures from Austria, but as the sun sets on a fantastic rally, there's just one stage to go for the top drivers and a massive lead for Kajtanovic at the front. Stage 18, 4:35 local time. Darkness falling to make the conditions just a little bit trickier. On board here with Jonathan Hershey in the 208 T16, 6th fastest time. 15.1 seconds faster than Tlustak, and up to 6th overall on the very last stage by just 2.8 seconds. Martin Fischerlehner, Austrian driver in a Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution 9, not in the points, as I say, for ERC2, hadn't registered for that category, but was the fastest driver with an R4 car, just ahead of the ERC2 competitors. There was an Austrian national rally going on at the same time as the ERC round. On board with Lukyanuk was just 8.5 seconds behind Tarabas coming into this final stage. Sets a time of 13 minutes 34.1 and has come back from nowhere. He was 5 minutes 38 off after stage 1 with that engine problem.
Amazing to drive. especially in the night, you know. Now it's clean without snow, so it's amazing. So now we will wait for the Tarabush to see what's his time.
So he closed him down significantly on the recent stages, and we know that Tarabush was struggling with tyres, but on a big push, on a mission to hold on to his podium position. The lamp pod on, one of the headlights out. 14 minutes 3.3. He's 29.2 behind Lukyanuk, and he loses third place.
Thank you.
Today we wanted before Lukyanuk, but we have a little problem with grip with tires. Okay, it's next time maybe.
Still the first person to congratulate him, so great sportsmanship. You can see the road conditions really changing now towards the end of the day. Robert Kansani, only 5th quickest on this final stage, but doesn't need to do any more because he's got an enormous lead in second place. He holds on to that second after a clever tyre strategy. There's a minute and 20 ahead of Lukyanuk. Now we're delighted to finish second on this first event of the year. Feels great for the team, Delta Rally, to all the people with me, all the people who love me. Thanks to them all. Kaitanovic finally doesn't win the stage on the last stage of the event. A sensible approach, absolutely nothing to prove, and still going very quickly indeed. Second quickest. Lukyanuk actually won this stage in taking that final podium position. It's an impressive victory anyway. He's 7 minutes and 7 seconds ahead of Kansani. No one was anywhere near him.
It's fantastic, it's amazing. It's thank you for everybody who believe in us, in our success. I feel it great. I don't know what can I say. Thank you for the spectators, for my team, of course, and for my sponsors. Unbelievable rally. It's amazing.
Almost speechless, isn't he? Great to see. Brilliant performance. Confirmation of the result, 7 minutes 7.4 ahead of Kansani. Lukyanuk, Tarabus and Fishelena, the top 5. Great performance from the local driver. Hershey, Tlustak, Staff, Bodka and Jean-Michel Raoult rounding out your top 10 for round 1 of the European Rally Championship. Kansani pleased with his result. It's a first victory in the Jännerrallye for Kaito, his second victory in the ERC, and he won all but that final stage. Brilliant job by him, and it's a perfect score as a result. 39.7 for leading after leg 1, 7 for winning leg 2, and 25 for the overall victory. Kansani in second place in the championship. Breen still in 9th despite going off on the first day. A few points there and a few lessons learned, I'm sure, about those tricky conditions. Still to decide was who the Colin McRae trophy would go to, the flat-out trophy, for driving most in the style of Colin himself. 3 drivers nominated: Slaromir Ograzek, ERC 3 winner Kaitanovic, and Lukyanuk surprised to win it. He's won it a couple of times before for those spectacular drives we saw last year. There we go, 3rd time and a great honour for him. Great competitor. Big problems on that first day.
Alexis Lukyanuk qui a eu un gros problème dans la première spéciale, un problème de
He had a big problem during the first stage, a problem with the engine. Then he fought back from 23rd to 3rd, performing in a brilliant way. Was indeed a great drive. There is the first podium of the 2015 European Rally Championship. Kaito, Kansani and Lukyanuk. Great way to kick off the start of a brand new season. That is it from a very snowy 2015 International Jännerrallye. More snow and ice ahead in a month's time for the Rally Liepāja in Latvia. I'm Andrew Coley, and don't forget to join us tomorrow night for the full highlights show from the first round of the European Rally Championship. We'll see you then.